the cracks in the Trump-Netanyahu ties. It's not only this. This is one wave after another. And it started with a few podcasters who are willing to go out on a limb. People like Theo Vaughn, comedian Dave Smith. You saw Dave Smith debated this guy Murray, who also is not an expert, but claims to be an expert because he went there. But it started with these people. And then Candace Owens, of course, was one of them. Now, recently I said, oh, Candace Owens stuff is great. And a couple people were like, what? How could you say that? Because her take on race after the George Floyd issue was problematic. So I never really followed her at that point when she was, I don't know where. This was even before she went to the Daily Wire. Then she basically got on the bad side of the Yahud. And now she's basically on her own, essentially. But after October 7th, that's when I started paying attention to her. And her stuff, she's going full force against them. So it starts with the podcasters. Then it moves up now to the podcasters who are in the Daily Wire. So Matt Walsh now. Who does Ben Shapiro have? When he lost Candace, by the way, Candace Owens' channel is trouncing Ben Shapiro's channel. And she's all by herself. And Shapiro's like supposedly got a team and he's going to open a Daily Wire TV and all that stuff and have his own streaming platform. But Matt Walsh was his other guy. Matt Walsh himself, he's playing a game. He's towing a very thin line. He literally has supplied people with a talking point, but then he sort of got himself out. I'll explain. Matt Walsh basically said that if a country can't survive on its own, it shouldn't exist. If a country needs another country's finances to exist, to survive, then that country shouldn't exist. So clearly Tucker Carlson says, well, Israel can't survive without America. Like, put two and two together. He says, no, I think it can survive without America. It can survive without it. So you see this little game he played? He put it out. He put the talking point out there for everyone, which maybe he's the first person to put it that concisely. But then he made bara'a from it by saying, I think Israel can exist by itself, which we all know is it can't. The whole world knows that Israel cannot exist without the United States. And Murray is complaining that Israel is not getting enough sympathy in the world. You know what this all reminds me of? That the Quran is true. It proves the Quran true. It displays a Quranic statement in which Allah Ta'ala says in Surah Ali Imran, verse 112, ضُرِبَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ الذِّلَّةِ. They're always struck with disgrace. They're always trying to be victims. They're always madhlul. They're always, oh, I need sympathy. أَيْنَمَا ثُقِفُوا. Wherever they go, need sympathy. Why are you asking for people to sympathize with Israel? So he's saying Israel hasn't gotten enough world sympathy throughout the world. Why do you need sympathy? You're a country. Just go and live. No one cares about sympathizing with Norway, for example. Greece went through an economic calamity. Iceland went through an economic calamity. All right, it's news. We keep scrolling. Why do you need sympathy? If you are a nation that stands up on your own, go on and keep living when that's it. Why do you care about us? Why do you care about anybody else? ضُرِبَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ الذِّلَّةُ أَيْنَمَا ثُقِفُوا. And they will not rise up إِلَّا بِحَبْلٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَحَبْلٍ مِّنَ النَّاسِ. This is an example that there's something to be filled in the verse. Right? They will be stricken with disgrace wherever they go, except by a rope from God or a rope from people. It means they will never be established except by a rope from God, prophets, or Sharia. The Sharia. So Sharia allows Jews to live in their land. Just pay a little jizya. It's far less than you would pay in taxes in the United States. أَيْنَمَا ثُقِفُوا إِلَّا بِحَبْلٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. So that's حَبْلٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. Either Allah Ta'ala gives them a great prophet who rectifies them and elevates them, like David and Solomon, or in the Sharia, if the verse is talking only about now, in the Sharia, then you get the dhimma status, the dhimmi, your dhimmis. Live here without anyone bothering you, as long as you behave. وَحَبْلٍ مِّنَ النَّاسِ. But they could also survive by another way. The people give them a rope. Some other group of people, like the Americans or the British, who established the state of Israel for them. And even then, the British were annoyed as heck by them. And they blew up the King David Hotel, and that's where the British was running the place from. Now they're here, and the United States has given these people so much money. And they haven't they've went and done all the wars that the U.S. has asked them to, and hated all the people that the U.S. has asked them to hate. After all that, they're still conniving And Waltz gets fired for conniving behind Trump's back. And your guy, the guy who basically is so easy to I want to say manipulate, but to deal with. All right, you got a lot of money. Allow him to, his agenda is to have peace in the world so that we could do tijara, we could do business, right? That's essentially it's like predictable, and you screwed that relationship up. Now Ben Shapiro is having a complete meltdown. It's beautiful to watch. If I'm get home and I'm taking a break, I want to watch Ben Shapiro having a meltdown, right? Because he's completely like his world. At the election time, Trump knew you need that money. Let's not have this fight right now with Israel. And he went with the flow, right? Full on Zionist, full 100%, no discussion on it. Now it seems that you guys are annoying and things are turning around and he's making a turn. And this whole tour to Turkey, to Syria's leader, you know what he said about Syria's leader? I can't believe this quote. Look at this quote on Syria's leader. He says about Ahmed al-Shara. He said, a young, attractive guy with good fighting skills. Guy was on the one-time terror list, and this guy says he's got good fighting skills. He met with Erdogan. Erdogan releases a statement saying that we met President of the United States, Mr. Trump, Crown Prince Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, and President of Syria, Ahmed al-Shara. Hopefully soon we'll see the reflection of this meeting. Following our phone conversation last week, I want to thank President Trump for announcing he's going to lift sanctions against Syria. I count on support of my friend Trump in an effort to end the humanitarian tragedy. He is way off the Zionist playbook. He's doing this trip, in my opinion, on purpose to tell Israel, to tell Netanyahu, you're not giving me orders. Now he's going, where's he going? The Emirates. Then he went to Saudi Arabia, full standing ovation. And people are looking around like common sense. You keep saying America first, America first. Let's build America. Let's take care of America. Let's be all patriotic. Okay, well, look at half the nation is like in complete poverty now. You go into the Rust Belt and it's just depression. And people think, you know what? 5% of the money given to Israel, if it was given here, we'd have fixed our city. 5% of that federal funding. It fixed. You can't even drink water in you cannot even drink the water, even with filters. وَبَاءُوا بِغَضَبٍ مِّنَ اللَّهِ. And they stay with the anger of God on them. وَضُرِبَتْ. Why? Anger of God? Just because of your identity? No, because of your actions. وَضُرِبَتْ عَلَيْهِمُ الْمَسْكَنَةِ. They have been branded with victimization. Listen to this. It's exact, explicit, perfect description. You have been branded with victim. You are always the victim.